Closing an enterprise software deal today usually requires clearing one massive hurdle. ISO 27001 certification used to be a technical IT project. Now it is a non-negotiable requirement for enterprise B2B contracts. But the moment you commit to getting certified, you are hit with the administrative weight of proving it. This creates a common trap for startups. Engineering teams will spend months building airtight security infrastructure, configuring firewalls and locking down permissions. Then they fail the audit anyway because they cannot definitively prove to an external auditor that those controls are actually working. There is a massive gap between being practically secure and being formally auditable. Mapped on a quadrant chart, the bottom axis is actual technical security maturity. The side axis is audit readiness. Engineering-heavy teams often land in the bottom right, high security, low readiness. Without evidence, auditors fail you. Certification bodies strictly reward organized proof over technical hype. The true hurdle of an ISO 27001 certification is not configuring the security controls. It is your organization's ability to continuously present organized proof without destroying your team's daily productivity. To understand why evidence matters so much, we have to look at the certification from the auditor's perspective. They do not view this as a one-time pass or fail exam. It is a legally binding 3-year operational cycle. Auditors are looking for systemic consistency and predictability. They are not impressed by isolated moments of heroic engineering. They want proof that your security is business as usual. To give you a clear map, we will deconstruct the exact milestones of this evaluation: the Stage 1 document review, the Stage 2 implementation reality check, and exactly how auditors grade your failures. Understanding the auditor's exact grading criteria upfront is the only way to prevent over-engineering your compliance or severely under-documenting your processes. The process begins with the application phase, where you draw the formal boundaries around what parts of your business are actually being certified. Once the scope is set, you enter the Stage 1 audit. The auditor's primary objective here is to evaluate your theoretical understanding of the standard and gauge your preparedness. Let's follow this process flowchart. The initial application moves into Stage 1, which is heavily focused on document review. At this stage, you must provide comprehensive, documented policies, a clear scope definition, and proof that you are planning internal management reviews. This requires a massive upfront administrative lift. The trade-off is that hours spent writing these policies are diverted away from core engineering work. If the auditor finds significant variations from the standard, they will pause the certification process immediately until you fix the foundational design. Passing Stage 1 simply proves your theoretical design is solid. It ensures you don't suffer a much more expensive, disruptive failure during the live testing phase. Within 1 month of passing that document review, you hit the Stage 2 audit. This is where auditor behavior shifts completely. They stop reading policy manuals and start interviewing your staff, pulling live system logs and checking configurations. Looking back at our flowchart, we move from theory to Stage 2, implementation and effectiveness. You must now provide immediate, time-stamped proof that your documented policies are actively functioning on a random Tuesday afternoon.
If your evidence is scattered across Jira tickets, Google Drive folders, and Slack threads, proving implementation causes massive operational disruption and team panic. Your final certification decision is granted entirely based on the live effectiveness of your controls during this exact phase. The speed at which you can retrieve live evidence dictates whether Stage 2 is a smooth, professional conversation or a chaotic, company-wide scramble. Almost no company passes an audit perfectly on the first try. Deviations happen, but they are categorized into strict severity levels. If we split the screen here, you can see how auditors score those deviations into either major or minor nonconformities. A major nonconformity means the total breakdown of a system or the complete absence of a mandatory requirement. A major failure immediately blocks certification. You are forced to submit an action plan within 30 days, and the auditor must conduct a follow-up visit within 90 days. A minor nonconformity is different. It is a single observed lapse, like one employee failing to sign an acceptable use policy. You still have to submit an action plan within 30 days, but a minor finding generally allows your certification to proceed. This leads to the risk of compliance debt. If a minor nonconformity is ignored and left unfixed by the auditor's next scheduled visit, it will be escalated into a new major nonconformity. Minor failures won't ruin your enterprise deal today, but treating them as optional suggestions guarantees a catastrophic failure during your next cycle. Getting the certificate on the wall is only the beginning. The 3-year certification cycle includes mandatory surveillance audits in year 1 and year 2. The goal of these surveillance audits is to ensure continuous operational hygiene, proving that you haven't abandoned your security practices the moment the initial audit finished. Many companies attempt to survive this cycle using a manual approach, relying on a patchwork of static spreadsheets and shared cloud folders. It creates a fragile, dense labyrinth of disconnected data. This manual approach is really only viable for extremely small teams of under 5 people, organizations that have zero software budget but endless administrative time. For a scaling business, trying to manually maintain a 3-year audit cycle drains expensive engineering resources. It turns compliance into a chronic operational drag. The systematic approach for a scaling business is to invest in a dedicated governance, risk, and compliance platform, like Brainframe. Let's pull up a scorecard comparing the manual approach against a dedicated platform. Brainframe centralizes your policies, live evidence, and automated audit tasks into one unified system. It immediately checks the boxes for fast evidence retrieval and high auditor confidence. The trade-off is straightforward. It requires a financial investment upfront and transitioning your team away from free spreadsheets. In return, it drastically reduces the duration and pain of your Stage 2 audits. Auditors absolutely love dedicated platforms because they provide exactly what the certification bodies demand: predictable, instantly organized proof. Adopting Brainframe GRC pulls you out of the administrative chaos. Using the platform makes ISO 27001 an automated, competitive asset that accelerates enterprise sales.